I've played Fortnite for over 5 years and today I will teach and explain you all of the best settings. I 100% recommend you to watch this entire video through because I'll be explaining everything very in depth and I'm sure there are some very important settings that you didn't know about. When it comes to your graphic settings, make sure your brightness is around 100%. And as you guys can see, the user interface contrast just makes your game look very dark, so keep it on 1x. For the colorblind mode, I personally keep this off and that's what I recommend you guys to do as well. It doesn't have any serious impact on the game, it just makes the colors look different. In my opinion, the game looks the absolute best when it's on off. Then we have the volume settings. Now this one is really important. Make sure you have your main audio setting at 100%. The audio in Fortnite is absolute garbage. Sometimes someone is right above you and you can't even hear them. So make sure you crank up your audio all the way up. The only thing left here that really matters is visualize sound effects. Like I said, the audio is trash in Fortnite and every single pro pretty much uses this setting on. You can see where people are shooting from, coming from, where chests are. Personally though, I don't like how it looks, so I keep it off, which honestly puts me at a disadvantage. Make sure your matchmaking region is set to where you're from. So if you're from NA East, put it to NA East. Next we come down to the movement options and we have toggle sprint. Make sure you keep this setting off. Having it off means that every time you want to sprint, you have to hold down your sprint button, and that is exactly what we want. Next up we got auto open doors, and you definitely want to keep this on. A lot of the times you're gonna mess up an edit and you're gonna do a door on accident. If you have this setting on, editing a door won't stop your movement and you can keep on building and editing without a problem. Mantle and hurdle activation. Make sure they are on hold jump and press jump. If you have these on hold forward, you're gonna be mantling and hurdling without you even meaning to do it, and that's gonna get you killed a lot of the time. Next we have hold swap to pick up. Keep this off because it makes picking up some items in the game a little more complicated and you want to keep it as simple as possible, so keep it off. Keep your toggle targeting off as well, but you want to keep on mark danger when targeting. This is super useful if you're playing duos or squads. Then we got auto pick up weapons. Keep this off. Next we have preferred item slots, and this is super huge and very important. Keep your shotgun as your loadout slot 1. This way when you take in someone's wall and you get it and then you want to go on to shoot them, your shotgun is going to be in your hands as soon as you switch to your weapon. The rest are also pretty important. I keep my SMG on my second option and my AR on my loadout slot 5. Next we have your building options, and these are extremely important. Reset building choice, you want to keep this on. It just means that every time you open your builds, there's going to be a wall, and 9 out of 10 times when you're going to start building, you're going to build a wall first. For your disable pre-edit option, you want to keep this on. If you have this setting off, you're often going to be pre-editing your stuff and you don't want that. Next we have turbo building. This makes building so much faster, so make sure you have this on. This means that you can hold down your build button if you want to build. Auto confirm edits. This setting used to be called confirm edit on release, and I highly recommend you guys to keep this on both. This basically means that every time you want to do an edit, you only have to press your edit button and then your select edit button. Once you let go of your select edit button, it's gonna do the edit for you. If you have it on both, it's gonna do that for your reset edits as well. Then we got extra game options. The only thing that really matters here is tap to search / interact. It makes reviving your teammates and opening chests, for an example, a lot easier, so you don't have to hold down your action button to do those. Next we have your replays. Make sure they are off. Replays use some of your system's memory and that can cause some FPS drops at times and more input delay. Next we have your game UI / HUD settings. These don't really matter, but if you have messed this up, make sure you just copy mine from here. The only two important settings here are the damage number scale. Make sure you turn that all the way up, and the HUD scale, you want to actually tweak that down a little. I see a lot of players have this on 100 or so, and if you have it on that high, the map is gonna be on your way. Turning this setting down to around 55% is gonna help you with that. Then we have gyro options. Make sure you keep this off. This means that you can control your sensitivity by moving your controller in real life. You're gonna go straight onto controller option. First thing we have here is controller auto run. I keep this off. However, this setting can be very useful if you're in game and you want to keep on running while drinking water, for an example. Then we got build immediately, builder pro. Make sure you have this on. This makes you place your builds a lot faster. Next we have edit hold time. If you have to hold down your edit button to edit, then you have messed up your binds, but we're gonna get into that soon. Next we have slide hold time. I've actually cranked mine up a little bit from the default because if you have it on too low, you're gonna be sliding on accident. Make sure it's not too high though, so keep it on 0.150. Next we have reset camera access. These don't really matter. Keep it on pitch though. Reset camera time 0.100. Next we have vibration, and a lot of people don't even know this. If you play with vibration on, that's gonna cause your hands to sweat more and it causes them to be more shaky. For the quick weapon beta mode, keep this on custom only 0.00 and none. You don't want to be using this setting. No pro uses this and there's a big reason for that. It just isn't very good yet. As you guys can see, it's on beta mode. I'm sure they're gonna update it and make it better in the future, but for now, make sure you don't use this setting. Now we get down to your sensitivities. For your build and edit mode sensitivity, these are very good to keep on 2x. This just means that it doubles whatever your actual look horizontal and vertical speed are, and as you guys can see, mine are 54%. Now these are considered pretty high actually, and I've I've always loved to play on a little bit of a higher sensitivity. However, what really helps me control this sensitivity is using a control freak. If you have a control freak, then make sure you use my sensitivity. If you don't have any control freaks though, I recommend you to turn this down to 44%. Now this is sensitivity, or is very close to a sensitivity that a lot of pro players use. When it comes to the boost, I keep mine on 0%, and that's what I recommend. Having boost on means that every time you put your joystick all the way up to some direction, it's gonna boost up your sensitivity even more and make it even faster. I've seen some pro players use this, but personally I've tried it and I just don't like it. It just makes me more inconsistent with my aims, builds, and edits. And now we come down to the ADS sensitivities, and I highly recommend you guys to keep a very low ADS sense. You don't need this to be high, because that makes it a lot harder for you to aim and hit your shots. I keep mine on 8%, and that's what I recommend as well. There's also ADS boost, and I highly recommend you guys to keep this off. For your look dampening time, you want to keep this on 0. It doesn't really do much in the game, so keep it on 0.00. My look input curve is linear, and I've been on it for years. Linear input curve means that every time you move your joystick, it's instantly gonna make you move with your look horizontal and vertical speed, while exponential look input curve slowly goes up to your normal sensitivity once you move your joystick. So if you want to have a nice fast movement, make sure you use linear. But if you're struggling to hit your shots with linear, you can definitely play exponential as well. Some pros do that. It just makes editing and building a little slower, so that's why I have always loved linear. For the aim assist strength, you want to keep this at 100%, of course. Then we come down to your controller dead zone, and I highly recommend you to keep the lowest dead zone possible. As you guys can see, when I set my dead zones to 5%, I get stick drift, and that's gonna happen to a lot of you guys as well. Make sure you keep on trying different low dead zones until you don't have any stick drift. For me, 8% is where I don't have any, so that's what I use. For the foot controller option, this is what a foot controller looks like. I'm guessing none of you guys have that, so keep it off. Now we come down to your controller binds, and they really changed up this menu a lot, and it can be very confusing. I personally use my custom own made controller binds, and you guys can see them right here. Now keep in mind though, I play right hand claw, so if you don't play claw, these are gonna be very weird and you shouldn't use these. Now let's get to the non-claw settings though. I've studied a lot of non-claw player settings, and I'm gonna share you some of the best tips that I've learned. Now when it comes to your non-claw binds, the most important things are having binds that allow you to take your thumb off the joystick as little as possible. The most important binds are your jump button, your edit button, and your switch mode button. A very good jump bind for non-claw players is actually L3, so the button that you move with. So if you want to switch your bind, you just have to press X here, and then press the button that you want to switch it to, then press confirm. And now my jump is my L3. Then after scrolling down a little bit, you come across edit building, and you want to make sure your edit building button is a very good one. If you play on PS4 or PS5, I highly recommend you to actually use your touchpad for this. This is how I press my touchpad, and as you guys can see, I don't have to take any of my thumbs off my joystick. And the third most important setting is the switch mode bind. So you want to keep on scrolling until you come across switch mode. Now you're going to be using your switch mode a lot, and like I said, you don't want to be taking your thumb off the joystick for this one. Otherwise, your movement is going to be looking very robotic and you're going to look bad. So a very good bind for this is actually your R3. So the joystick that you normally aim with. And here we go. My switch mode is R3 now. And those are the absolute most important settings that you have to switch. For the rest of the settings, you have to use your imagination like I have. There are millions of different combos you can do with your settings. But as long as you just follow those 3 steps that I gave you from the non-claw settings bind, you are going to be good with your binds. But what I do recommend is for everyone watching to switch to claw. This makes your controller bind so much easier because you don't have to think about them too much. If learning claw is something that you're very interested in, make sure you check out this video right here. Thanks for watching. Bye.